Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of October 18th through October 22nd, 2021. Okay, and just like always, what I do here is I will look at all the major Forex currency pairs on a 30-minute time frame. Okay, and I do that just so we can see what happened this past week. Okay, and then I will compare that to higher time frames such as the 4-hour, daily, and weekly charts. Okay, and then based on my experience and using my Excalibur trend indicator here, we're going to try and see what's going to happen this coming week. Okay, so anyhow, this past week, okay, looking at the past week, it was very, very strange because, and I had some really good trades too, but it was strange because it had a lot of different movements. Okay, we saw across the board the US dollar was dropping, and the Great British Pound was the Australian dollar, and euro. Okay, the opposing currency pairs were going up, which is supposed to happen, but it's kind of interesting though, because we saw the US dollar Japanese yen skyrocket up, okay, and continue going up, which is very, very odd. Okay, so and not all the currency pairs follow the same pattern. I was trading the Great British Pound, all the GBP, all the Great British Pound currency pairs this past week, and they all had different movements. So it's like all the currency pairs across the board. Now here I'm only going to show you the major, but across the board, all these different currency pairs had really strange movements, which is not normal. Usually, like Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, if all these AUD pairs will be following the same pattern, but yet they were all going different directions. Same with the Great British Pound and some other currencies as well. So a lot of these currencies here all had different movements. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening in the market. There was really not that much high impact news. So, but anyhow, I did have a lot of good winning trades this past week. I was really happy with that. But moving on, like I said, here I got the EURUSD pulled up on the chart, and we see that it definitely did go up this past week. That's because the US dollar is sinking, and I think the US dollar will continue to sink this past week. Excuse me. So this will probably go up more. Now right here we see it riding sideways. Okay, it went up to this high point here and just kind of sitting there. If we look here on the 4-hour chart, all right, so we see that it is definitely working its way up. Okay, so if this continues to go up, then the US dollar is going to go down as a result. Okay, so everything's kind of up in the air right now. The US dollar, I don't know, it's definitely not really going up. I know the USDJPY went up, but US dollar is trying to fight back, but it's just not doing good. And that's mainly because of the non-farm payroll had a weak jobs report. They did not produce as many jobs as expected. So that means the economy is not rebounding as good as a lot of legislators and lawmakers pretend it is. Okay, so the real true story about the U.S. economy is that it's not rebounding like the way people want. Now if we look here on the daily chart, we see it going up, right? We have an up arrow here, and it's definitely working its way into an uptrend. And if we look here on the weekly chart, we only see a down arrow. Okay, so we know the long-term trend is bearish. Okay, and that's what we want. Okay, in the short term, we're going to see this go up. Probably, we're going into the middle of the month now. Probably for the rest of this month, we're going to see this go up. Okay, I don't know how high. I mean, we got a high point here that you can see. I don't think you're going to see a red arrow form there. What I do think is, look at this right here. We have a low point right here. Okay, that was a support before. The price had dropped here and made a support, dropped here and made a support, and then broke. All right, formed a resistance, and then broke that, formed another support, came back down here, formed a support, and broke that as well. So now this is a resistance. Okay, I hope you understand that this is a resistance right now, and that is where we're looking for the price to head on the daily and 4-hour charts. Okay, so for this price to go that high, which is about a 1,000-point gain, that's going to take a 1,000-point gain is achievable in 1 week, but with the market the way it's moving, it might take 2 weeks. Okay, so which would put and track where this is headed for the rest of the month. So I really feel that this will be going up. It probably will go higher than this right here by the end of the month. Okay, there's no way of knowing exactly what will happen. Like I said, it's all dependent upon the US dollar, but we're going to see this slowly trickle up, and the US dollar should slowly trickle down. Okay, so what should we do this week? Okay, now if we put your charts on a 30-minute time frame. Okay, and we look here on a 30-minute time frame, and I zoom out a little bit. We see that price has been going down for the longest time, right? And we still have some pretty decent buy and sell opportunities along the way, but right now it's going up. Okay, so if you want, the 4-hour shows the buy, so you can match your 30-minute time frame to the 4-hour chart and only place buy trades. Look at this, we had a sell signal now, but it's not really going down. Okay, because it's in an uptrend. So my advice to you would be to wait until you get a buy signal and then place a buy trade. If you want to be 100% safe this week, I would place buy trades only. Okay, on the blue arrow using my Excalibur trend indicator. Okay, and you can close the trade when you get the next opposite red arrow. Okay, that would make it very safe this week. Moving on to Great British Pound versus US dollar. Okay, we see very similar movement we saw previously, but here we see a nice steady uptrend. Okay, it had a high point here, which it broke, and it had another high point. So we had resistance and then another resistance. Okay, and that's very common in the Forex market. Now we had this high point here. The question is it going to go up more? If we look here on the 4-hour chart, we already have a strong resistance, and it's been going for quite some time. Okay, so it looks like it's getting ready to go back down, but if the US dollar is going to be dropping, this is going to be going up higher, guaranteed. If you look at the daily chart, this is the big kicker right here. Okay, price has been going up for quite some time. All right, so there's no red arrow yet. We had the blue arrow followed by a lower blue arrow. Okay, so we had a low followed by a lower low, but typically when you have two arrows of the same color, the next one should be the opposite color, which in this case would be red color, right? If you look back into history, we can see we had 1, 2, 3 red arrows in a row. So it is possible to have 3 blue arrows in a row, but that's not always the case. Here we had 3 red arrows. Trying to see if we have 2 or 3 blue arrows in a row. Here we had 3 blue arrows in a row. So yes, it is very possible to have a 3rd blue arrow, meaning this could drop more, but we don't know. Now the long term, here's the deal. The long term, on using the weekly chart, the long term aspect of this is definitely bearish. Okay, it's definitely wanting to go down. So with the daily chart right now, we got 2 blue arrows. We could possibly have a 3rd. I do not foresee this going up too much higher. Okay, we have a 4-hour chart right now telling you to sell. So my best guess is that this will drop some and then eventually go up even higher. And that might take another week or 2 for that to happen. Okay, if we zoom out a little bit, we see 2 blue arrows in a row, but yeah, this could definitely work its way up. I don't know how high it'll go. We have a resistance here. Let me mark this one. We have a resistance right there. If I go back to the daily chart, you can see that resistance right there. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this a little clearer. See that resistance right here? So what's going to happen is the price is going to eventually go back up to this area. I don't know if it's going to go to this high point or this high point. We don't know the future, okay? But what we can tell is that for the next few weeks, okay, maybe even the next month, this is going to slowly go up, okay? And then it should hopefully form a red arrow somewhere in here, okay? Simply because we have two red arrows in a row, or two blue arrows in a row. Let me delete that horizontal line real quick. I'm going to show you something else. We have a kind of a resistance here, okay? Going down. Now, if this is 100% true, we have a point here and a point here, okay? Those are 2 points on the trend line. We need 3 points to make a perfect trend line. So we're looking for this to touch here and then probably drop down. If it breaks, it's going to keep going up until it forms a red arrow, okay? So we really don't know the future, but at least for right now, probably in the next week or even 2 weeks, I think this will be going up more or less in a sideways fashion, because we're approaching a high resistance right now. We're approaching a high point. On the 4-hour chart, we're almost there already. And so this will probably go up a little bit more in the beginning of this week, and this will probably repaint, I'm guessing, because it's such a fresh signal, okay? And that is what we're looking for, is to touch that trend line right there and then drop. But I feel eventually it's going to break that trend line, okay? We don't know. If it breaks that trend line by 1 or 2 candles, then you're good to buy. All right, and hold it for a week or two, and you'll have some nice profit. Now, if it breaks that trend line, how high will it go? I don't know. Like I said, we have a resistance right here, and that would probably be the point where it will go. Break this trend line and work its way up to this horizontal line, this resistance right here, okay? Hope that makes sense. So that's just some basic Forex 101 right there, okay? So moving on to Australian dollar versus US dollar, okay? Now, here with the Australian dollar versus US dollar, we see that the price went up almost the same like the Great British Pound went up, but this one's a little bit different because the price shot down here and then went back up again. So it's kind of a fake out, if you will. But we definitely see the Australian dollar going up. I think it's probably going to go up even more. If we look on the 4-hour chart, we see pretty much the same thing we already saw before. We had a big gain, okay? Now let's hit a strong resistance. If you look at the daily chart, however, there's no red arrow yet, okay? So again, we have a resistance right here, okay? I can tell just by that candle right there. We see the price that dropped right here and made a support, broke and formed a resistance. Resistance still at this very point in time, it is a resistance. Okay, so what's going to happen this week? Well, I feel it's going to definitely be going up some in the beginning of the week. But if you keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame, you should be safe to both buy and sell. But watch out. Right now, look at this. Sell signal, but it's not really dropping, okay? So it's going to go up to that point. If you look at the 1-hour chart, it says to sell. I just got this funny feeling if you sell right now, it's going to go up even more. Okay, so what we're looking for, even the 4-hour shows to sell. But what we're looking for is for this to go up even higher and touch that resistance. This 4-hour, this arrow on the 4-hour chart, I don't know, but it will most likely repaint and it will probably go up even higher if it don't form a second red arrow. Okay, I think it's going to repaint. I don't know, but what I do know is that the daily chart shows to go up, and there's no red arrow yet. Okay, so it only needs to go up a few hundred points. If you look here on the chart, from there to there is 580, so almost 600 points. So it's not bad. Okay, that's not a huge gain. It could definitely do that in 1 week. But if you look at the weekly chart shows to sell. So we're definitely not going to have any huge gains, any huge upward movement. Australian dollar is a strong currency, but US dollar, I don't know. If the US dollar continues to sink, then this will continue to go up. That is a given. So we will see. That's why I feel that this will be going up some more. What will probably happen is if it goes up and touches this resistance, it's going to drop. Eventually it will break that resistance and go up even more. If it breaks this resistance, then it will go to another higher, which is, I don't know, right here, because there's a support here and resistance, or it could go to right here, which is probably more likely where it will go. So it's very difficult to say, you know, exactly what's going to happen, but do keep an eye out. Okay, I have a very strong suspicion that this will be breaking that resistance and going in higher. That's going to take another week or two for that to happen. We're probably going to see a lot of range of markets this week, so you should be safe to both buy and sell using a 30-minute time frame. Although I would wait until at least the London session on Monday before you go placing any trades, just see what the market is doing. Okay, if it's starting to drop, then okay. But like I said, this week is probably going to go back up. If you want to play it safe, I would probably place buy trades only. Okay, just because it's showing to want to go up on the daily chart. All right, so all these Great British Pound, I'll keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame and place buy trades only. Okay, it's hard to say because, you know, it looks like it's getting ready to go back down. But anyhow, you always have a lot of good buy and sell opportunities with the GBPUSD. But when you see you have an uptrend like this, you're much better off just placing the buy trades. Okay, but the 4-hour shows to sell. So now it's probably going to be a lot of sideways movement, but it's still going to go up some more. Okay, the daily shows to go up. So between the Great British Pound and Australian dollar is almost the same situation, right? So I would probably stick with buy trades only because it is still going up. Okay, now going into the next week, we're probably going to see a downtrend emerge. Okay, we see the price come back down, and then the week after that go back up again. Okay, it's just how Forex works. So this week, be prepared. I really feel that it's going to go up even more. Now, if those pairs go up, the US dollar should be going down. Now, let's look at US dollar versus the Swiss Franc. Okay, this one here, interesting. Okay, the price definitely did drop this past week and started to come back up a little bit. If you look at the 4-hour chart, it has a strong support and it's showing to go up. Okay, it's not, you know, going to a big uptrend yet, but it's looking like it's going to go up. Now, what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a lot of sideways movement. If you look at the daily chart, it shows to sell. We have 2 red arrows in a row. So based on that, I feel that US dollar will be dropping. Okay, that's why I was saying earlier that the US dollar over the next few weeks, the next month or so, US dollar should be dropping. Okay, now US Congress and President Joe Biden did put into law a temporary measure to raise the debt ceiling and to stop a government shutdown. Okay, that is only temporary. Okay, we don't have any final legislation. The temporary is only till December. Okay, in December it expires. So we only have, this is already October, so we have like a month and a half before that expires again. And Republicans said they're not going to vote on that. And they're not going to allow that to happen a second time, to do another extension. So we only have a limited amount of time. So, but at least that is saving the US dollar right now, okay? Keeping it from melting down. If the government shuts down, government goes into default, which has never happened ever, but if that happens, you're going to see the US dollar tank like you never saw before, okay? So the US dollar is still a fragile condition right now, in a fragile state, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but I do feel that the US dollar is going to be dropping. It has been going up, but daily chart shows 2 red arrows. So what's going to happen here? The 4 hours shows to buy. Okay, so it's probably going to go up a little ways and then come back down even more. All right, so, and I'm not a fortune teller, but what I can tell you is that we have a high point there on this arrow. We also have a high point here on this red arrow, okay, which is probably, I don't know, probably where you're going to see another red arrow form on the 4-hour chart, if not the 1 hour, okay. And we'll probably see that drop back down. Now we do have here and here, so right in here somewhere for high points as well. If you go back to the 4-hour chart, you see that high point here. So I don't know, if the US dollar goes up, then the Great British Pound, Australian dollar, and New Zealand dollar, and the euro, okay, these right here, these opposite pairs will be going down, okay. So you see here, like EURUSD, it shows to go up. Great British Pound on the 4-hour chart shows to go down. Australian dollar on the 4-hour chart shows to go down. So if these go down, the US dollar will go up, okay. But like I said, the US dollar is not doing real well. So what's going to happen this week is, like, here, look at the Australian dollar, US dollar. I think it might drop a little bit in the beginning of the week and then go up even more. By the end of the week, it should end, you know, up here by this resistance. You look here on the US dollar, it's going to do the opposite, okay. It's going to go up some. What, this one went down, so this one will probably go up some in the beginning of the week, and then by the middle of the week, it's going to drop back down again, okay. You can just about count on that. If you look here, see the daily chart shows the sell. If you look at the 1-hour chart, we see here that it wants to go up, okay. So we can expect like Monday and Tuesday for this to be slowly going up, and then by Wednesday it's going to drop back down again. So you should be safe to both buy and sell. Just keep your charts on a 30-minute time frame. Right now it's already selling, so I would not, I mean, it's already dropping with this red arrow. I would not sell right this minute, and I would definitely wait until at least the New York session on Monday before placing any trades. But for the, you can both buy and sell, but right now I would wait until you get another buy signal and then place a buy trade, okay. And then when you get the next red arrow, close that trade and place another sell trade, okay. I think we're going to see a lot of range of markets with the US dollar, Swiss franc this week, okay. I don't really see any major trends. The 4 hour shows the buy, but the price is going to go up a ways and then come back down. Will it hit this resistance this week? I doubt it. Probably will be next week. So we're going to see, we'll probably see a slight uptrend, but overall we're going to see a lot of range of markets. So you should be safe to both buy and sell using a 30-minute time frame. Moving on to US dollar versus Japanese yen. This one went up this past week, okay, and really shocking, okay. I did not think this would hit the 114 range, okay. I saw some websites analyzing USDJPY. They were predicting the price to go to 114, and I said, no, there's no way it's going to go that high, but actually it did. If you look here on the 4 hour chart, we see we had a huge uptrend. Okay, the price had hit this point before, and I thought the price was going to drop and keep dropping, and it went up instead. So I'm like really shocked. When it hit the 110, 111 range, I was like, oh wow. But in the 111 range, I figured that's about as high as it's going to go. But it shocked me, it went all the way to the 114 range. Wow. And it's interesting because US dollar across the board has been dropping. This one has been steadily going up. Okay. And you look at the daily chart, you definitely see the price have been going up. Will it go up even more? I don't know, but what we do know and we can see is that here on the daily chart we have a strong signal to sell. And if we look on the weekly chart, we have that also. Okay, which we have been waiting for a red arrow for a long time. Okay, we have not had a red arrow. Well, we had 3 blue arrows in a row starting back in 2016. The last red arrow was back in the year 2015. This is 2021, 6 years ago, right? That we had another red arrow. That's a long time. And now we have a red arrow, which means, okay, we have a high followed by a lower high. So that means the long-term trend is bearish. This should be dropping. Okay. US dollar might spike up a little bit more, but it might spike up to the 115 range. But I don't think it's going to go too much higher than that. Let me show you something real quick. Since I got this zoomed out, if I mark this resistance right here, okay, I just want to mark this one here. That's a pretty strong resistance. Now there's other levels of resistance as well. I just see that one right there as a pretty strong resistance. If I zoom in a little bit, we see right here we're almost there right now. So if it goes up, it's only going to go up slightly, maybe a few hundred points. And this green marker right here is at 114,800. So again, it might go to 115, which would be just slightly higher than that. And that is very possible. If we readjust this green horizontal line and put it on this resistance, then yes, we'd be in the 115 range. Okay, so it could go a little higher. I don't think it's going to go that much higher because the weekly chart above all is already telling you to sell. Now this is a very fresh signal. Okay, we are not in a downtrend yet. We're still going up. Okay, we will know when we're in a downtrend or it's reversed and going back down when the support breaks. If you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see here we have a support like this. Okay, and ultimately that's what we're waiting on, for that to break. Okay, before we want to sell, and that's going to take some time. If you look at the daily chart, you can see that, and it's going to take probably a week or more. So what I think is going to happen this week is the price is going to, in the beginning of the week, the price will come back down some. If you look here on the 30-minute chart, okay, it's showing the sell right now. So in the beginning of the week, the price will drop some and then go up even higher. Okay, until you hit a strong resistance somewhere in here. Okay, either that green line or something like that. It's going to go up a little bit higher. So again, watch the price to drop probably Monday going to Tuesday, and then by Wednesday it's going to go up even higher. Price should end higher than where it is right now, and that's fine. Okay, now moving on to next week, you know, the following week we will definitely see the price shoot back down. Okay, so this week we're going to see range of markets. You have some good buy and sell opportunities, but the overall price is going to be going up this week. If you want to play it safe, you can place a buy trade only and definitely get a few hundred pips out of the deal. So yeah, it kind of sucks because I didn't know it was going to be doing that. It's just really radical right now, but soon it's definitely going to be dropping. And when it finally breaks that trend line, if you go back to the daily or 4-hour chart, when it finally breaks this trend line in the next week or two, we're going to be looking, probably the next 2 weeks, we're going to be looking to sell and sell hard. Okay, and that's going to fall in line with everything else that's happening with the US dollar. Okay, moving on to US dollar versus Canadian dollar. Okay, now this one in the past week, it's on a 30-minute chart. The past week it had a big drop, and now we hit a strong support and it's starting to work its way back up. But if we look here in the 4-hour chart, we see that this is a very fresh signal, and it's a pretty solid support, and it's starting to go up. But how high will it go up? Okay, because we had such a big downtrend. Okay, now we're going to have another big uptrend. I just don't think so. If you look here at the daily chart, it shows the sell still, and there's no blue arrow. So we need the price to drop even further before it hits a blue arrow. Okay, so if the 4-hour chart shows to buy, but the daily chart shows to sell, meaning this will not go up that high, and it'll probably drop down and form another blue arrow. That's my best guess. Okay, my best educated guess. If we look here, there's a strong support right here, and that would probably be the spot where you will see a blue arrow form on the daily chart. That's going to take another week or two for that to happen, because the price is going to go up in the short term and then back down again. See, the price here dropped, went back up, dropped, went back up, dropped, went back up, drop again, until finally it forms another blue arrow on the daily chart. If we look at the weekly chart, it shows to go up, and it's been showing that for quite some time. So we know the long-term trend is bullish, that the price will definitely be going up. In the short term, the next week or two, we can expect the price to drop some, but you know, eventually it's going to go back up. That would probably be in November, so I don't know. The price might drop even lower, back down to this blue arrow. I don't know, but I don't foresee that happening. What I do foresee happening from my own experience is that this will drop down to here. This is the 4-hour chart. So if it will drop down to here on the 4-hour chart, might go up in the beginning of this week, drop down some more. By the end of the week, it will hit this, and then next week we'll see the price bounce back up and start forming like a range of market. Okay, and it will slowly start forming an uptrend. So that's going to be, you know, the following week. We should wrap out the month with the price ending up somewhere here in the 126 127 range. Okay, 1.27 range. That would be the most likely scenario for this US dollar versus Canadian dollar. So yes, right now these is very weak. If this price is going to be dropping this week, that means the euro, Great British pound, and Australian dollar are going to go up some more, because they always do the opposite effect. Okay, so anyhow, I know I've talked long enough. I want to try to educate you a little bit. If you have any questions about how to trade Forex, how to use these predictions, you know, anything at all about Forex related, okay, please feel free to hit me up on Facebook. I'll put a link below in the description of this video. Okay, if you would like me to analyze another currency pair, any of these currency pairs here that I did not go over, which is quite a bit, please feel free to hit me up on Facebook as well. The link is in the description. Also, I'll put a link for my private Facebook group, so you can join my Facebook group and post any questions or comments in my Facebook group. All right, so with that said, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Please let me know if I can help you in any way at all. Thank you so much.